kick it off with this, because if you've been watching the show all week, you'll probably remember Star Trek captain actor Anson Mount. He was just with us. Yep. He was just with us in the studio a few days ago. This was back on Monday, and he was celebrating the 60th anniversary of the franchise, the whole Star Trek stuff. And while he was super lovely with us, we can't help but notice he was just a little different when he was on The View yesterday. Take a look at this.
I'm old, but I'm not dead.
Love it. I'm feeling a little left out. I'm gonna lie. No, just kidding. Well, Joy Behar, well, she's actually getting some flack for that now online. People are saying she crossed a line with a married man. I mean, she has a partner too, but nobody's talking about that. So, was this kiss inappropriate, Jess? What do you think?
I had fun, well, interesting. I had fun reading some of the Facebook comments on this post, and one woman was horrified by the exchange. Some kept suggesting if the gender roles had been reversed, would we still be reacting? But when I watched that clip, I see it as a mutual going in at the exact same time, which kind of makes that a moot point. But plenty of people, like this audience, I think were completely fine with it. I think because they are both married, they were able to read the room, sort of like it seemed
but
like
isn't
a
it interesting
humorous
if
moment.
you try to imagine for a moment that he did it to any other woman on that panel?
He could have done it to Whoopi, and I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't even know about that. Okay, but so anyone else? What do you think would happen?
Listen, I think if he had done it to the other two because they're younger and attractive people, because you guys know I flirt with every man that comes on the show. Which, by the way, Anson, has me feeling a kind of a ways, because you were here and I didn't even get a wink, but we're gonna let that go for now. But I think it's because of the age, because Joy, first of all, she's a comedian, she's 83 years old, she's in a long-term relationship. But if you tried that with the younger women on that panel, even though they're in relationships, the tabloids and everybody would be going wild, because people like to speculate. Even with the people that I have fun with here on the show, do you know how many of you are in my DMs going, I think this is it, this is it? I go, no, we're just trying to bring a little levity and a little fun. It's never that deep.
It's never that deep,
Joy is not a threat. That's how I see the situation.
I see.
But why do you think she's not a threat? Like,
because she's 83 years old and married and a comedian.
Okay, but did you know that there's a whole subgenre in porn that is dedicated to men who like older women?
Well, and that just made it hotter. It just made it hotter.
When I say she's not a threat, I don't mean that as it is. Because I would say that about myself as well. That's why I think I get away with a lot. I'm not a threat.
Oh, no. I would not trust you around my man. Oh, no. No. No, too much personality in these girls. Oh, no. Nice try. Nice try, Allen. I'm not buying that for a second. Sorry.
Interesting. I'm rethinking Jess's relationship with my husband.
Yes, you should.
Anyway,
as you should.
No, Jess, you brought up something that it's not the same thing, right? Like with genders flipping. There's a thing that happens in our society these days because everybody's so uppity about everything, and it's called a false equivalency. We hear this a lot, like in the time of George Floyd, and everybody was talking about racism. A lot of people would say, see, there's such a thing as reverse racism. I would like to take a news flash for you. There is no such thing as reverse racism, and you know why? There's a reason, right? Tell me one time in history when black people oppressed all white people in a culture. It's just never happened. That's why reverse racism is not a thing. But I would like to also say, tell me the time when a matriarchy oppressed and imprisoned and took rights away from all men across the world.
Those mythical Amazons were pretty nasty.
Yeah. So I think that's why there's no such thing as false equivalency here. And she whispered something to him just before it happened. I think that this was a little bit of a bit. They have a bit of history. He sent her flowers on her birthday many, many years ago, and she was really enamored by that. He's an actor. As you said, she's a comedian. She whispered something. I think they planned to kiss kiss on the mouth that she just took a little far. And you know what? Mission accomplished, Joy. We're talking about you up here. So good for her.
The interesting thing is that people have, like, I think it brings to mind, do you remember that famous kiss between Halle Berry and Adrian Brody? Where Adrian Brody was at the Oscars and he grabbed her and he made out with her. And I think all of us were horrified, and it became sort of a touch point during the Me Too conversations of just like the audacity of somebody to do that. And yet you were telling me this morning that she actually has now come forward and said that she didn't mind that either.
Well, when he recently got nominated, I forget for what role, he was doing an interview on the red carpet before the Oscars, and she saw him, and she interrupted his interview, and she said, first of all, to his wife, she's like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. And she grabbed him and she kissed him on the lips.
Oh.
So it was one of those things where everybody else, once again, the audience has their own story about it, but between the two actors, they were fine. It was a thing in the moment, but yeah, it did get a lot of people up in arms, but Halle seemed to be fine with it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, moving on, Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz, you've heard of them, they want us to know that they do everything together, even share a treadmill. So the couple, you might remember this as well, they're estranged from Brooklyn's famous family, who he accused in the past of trying to sabotage his marriage. But beyond that, are couples who do everything together super cute or super cringe? What do you guys think? Cringe!
Right? I know. We all look at that video and we're like, oh my gosh, that is so cringe. And then I had to check myself and I go, wait a second, I think I'm that person. I know, wait, because, okay, so not too long ago, I was dating a guy and we went to the gym together, and we would do sets in different parts of the gym. It was a very small gym. And then in between sets, we would walk by each other and then give each other a peck on the lips. It was just, in my mind, it was just cute.
That's cute.
Until one time we did it and I caught a man mid-pull down, look at us and kind of go, oh. And then in my head, I'm like, oh no, we're those people.
Yeah.
So listen, you can, when you're in the love bubble, you can kind of get swept up into those like weird, stupid things to do. So I cannot judge. I want to, but I'm not in a place
You know
to
what?
do that.
First of all, that's so cute. It's really, really cute. These two have been together for 7 years. I think they've been married for 4. And anybody who knows anything about this couple knows that, unfortunately, Victoria Beckham, which is Brooklyn's mom, there's been a lot of drama between her and especially the Peltzes, so his wife's family. He's broken off all relationships with his own family, which is really actually sad.
Very sad.
But this reminds me of a little tale called Romeo and Juliet. And when you are somebody who doesn't want your child or your children together, the more you interfere, it's like the stronger they get together. So here's the thing, because the honeymoon phase is over. 7 years is a long time, you know, and they should be kind of out of this honeymoon phase. I've been married for like 18 years. I'm still in the honeymoon phase. However, I'm not saying that's normal. It's probably not normal. She wants to puke. I get it. I know.
It's just like highly unrelatable, I think.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's
go
true.
on,
It's
carry
true.
on.
Yeah, I get it. You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So I think what would be more interesting is if Victoria actually butts out, if that's what's actually going on, and you leave these two to their own devices, are they still going to be this tight without a common enemy?
Interesting.
I don't think they will.
I have another test for them. Does anyone remember a 1991 SNL sketch about a couple who did everything together, including using the toilet? This was called the love toilet. So Nicola and Brooklyn,
Wait.
I don't think you can say you do everything together
You know
until
what?
I see you on that.
Can I tell you something? There is a celebrity that has this in their bathroom, and it's Meghan Trainor and her
remember her
husband.
seeing this.
Yes, they have this. This is not a sketch. This is real life for some people. Meghan Trainor, she admitted to this.
Oh my gosh,
I
when
know.
comedy becomes reality.
I know.
I wouldn't even go that far.
I know you and you're a love bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Keep your sounds to yourself.
All right, so let's dive into our next juicy topic. Former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Brandi Glanville is under fire for calling her kids boring over their clean lifestyles. Now, Brandi said on her Unfiltered podcast that she wants her 23 and 19-year-old sons to party a little bit more. All right, so can you understand parents wanting their kids to have more fun? Do you guys?
Yeah.
I've never met.
I love that.
The generation that's, you know, old enough to have had the fun, you know, is like, please have more fun. So what's really interesting to me is that we are raising young children. Our kids are Gen Alpha, right? They're not Gen Z, but in general, probably since the Gen Zers, their lives have gotten a lot smaller, it feels like, than the way we grew up. Literally staying inside more. So we're the generation that's sneaking out of the house, riding your bikes till the sun, you know, goes down, and disappearing for a while. You couldn't get us on a phone because there were no devices. So for me, fun growing up was hitting the clubs, was partying, was going out with my friends. That is not happening anymore. And those were, when I say partying for me, and what I think Brandi is saying is that ritual of growing up, getting your independence, taking risks, messing up, getting into silly relationships. It's the idea of transitioning out of your home as a young person into an adult. We have rituals for this in many cultures. In the Maasai region, that boys go out and kill a lion, and guess what? Now you're an adult man, right? What is the equivalent in our culture for today's younger generation of the transition between being a child and being an adult? If partying is gone and finding independence is gone, what's the equivalent?
I don't know that I'm all that sad, though, about it, because I think there's a general feeling that young people are pushing away the idea of getting inebriated and getting blottoed in the way that we did in our generation. And it wasn't all like sunshine and roses. Like, there were a lot of bad decisions made under that.
And at least you were outside.
But okay. But I think that also
took you grass.
Sure, maybe. I think if you think about it, like, a lot of that was to cover up a lot of pain, and like we were going out and like you didn't feel like you were entitled to make decisions. So what I see with young people is actually they're finding their own way of making their.
And what is that way? Because I just can't see it.
I mean, listen, it's unfair. Jaya and Marquez are not at the club stage anyways, and I never entered a club stage, for the record. Like, I feel like there's other ways to find fun.
You were in the bush parties in Barrie.
I know it.
Let her.
I know
But I do think
it.
they're online. They are online connecting. Sorry.
Like, speaking of bad decisions, bush parties, I did that, got blottoed, underage, and so on. And there was one night, like, the worst decision I've ever made, like being in a quarry, like with a 20-foot drop that it was a lake at the bottom. And because all the other kids were jumping off it in pitch blackness, I did it too. And because it was black, I didn't know when I'd hit the water. So went up into a cannonball and actually broke skin on my thighs. I'm okay.
But you could have died.
I could have died.
Was it fun?
So, but here's the thing. It was terrifying. I was outside, but that was also a result of my parents parenting in this way. So be home by midnight, be safe.
Oh,
okay, Mom and Dad. Like, are parents today willing to do that?
See, and
That's a good question.
I definitely am not.
Yeah, exactly.
We're from the same generation, but I didn't have that kind of, like, you could be at the quarry. My mother was not. My mother be like, where are you going? To the who or the where? Oh, no, you're not leaving the house. Because I had to give strict instructions about where I was allowed to go.
That's good
But she had to know where I was going, and she always picked me up.
So what was your fun?
So my fun is I started clubbing at 14.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sitting here today, so don't judge. And there was no drugs and no alcohol. All my friends, we wanted to do was dance and have fun and take our outfits off layaway at Le Chateau and have a good time. And I'll tell you something, there was an energy that I had, and this is the reason why I always wanted to be outside with my friends. So when I see these young kids, I'm not so worried about clubbing. I'm just like, that energy, that youthful energy that you're supposed to have, where are you expending that energy? And I am looking at the difference in parenting is
concerts,
when I was,
by the way, concerts
are not enough, and concerts are not regular enough, and they're too expensive. Like, I'm talking about, I was out every long weekend. I was out for the entire long weekend. But I am seeing a difference. When I was growing up, none of my friends were scheduled 3 to 4 nights a week at a practice and a game.
That's true.
None of them.
That's true.
Now, all of my friends' kids, whether it's baseball, soccer, you name the sport, 3 to 4 nights a week, these kids are booked in something. And if they're not booked in a sport, then they have Kumon. And if they're not doing that, they're learning Mandarin. And if they're not doing that, and then I think there's also the social media aspect of it. We were allowed to make mistakes, and no one recorded it. You were at the quarry, and no one will. If you don't tell that story, there's no video of it. These kids live in fear that whatever they do and whatever mistakes they make end up on the phone, and your parents are going to use people as examples, because there are lots of kids who make mistakes like, listen, this could affect your future, so don't do it. You want to get into the right school. It's going to affect that scholarship that you want. So I think that's why the kids are holding back on the fun. They're afraid.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out there. We used to go to all-age dance parties when we were kids. If the older generation remembers that, they don't exist anymore. So I'm actually being serious about this on live national television. I might start to put together an all-ages, no phones party for preteens, for our kids.
That's smart.
For safe, good fun. What do you think?
One of those in my hometown. They were awesome.
What do you?
Okay, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm open to it.
She's not going.
Jaya's coming.
Jaya might rather be at the movies, which brings us to our next topic, which is, would you shell out $70 for a bucket of popcorn, guys? Okay, well, the New York Times is reporting that collectible concession vessels like this Trojan horse and director's camera from the Odyssey, as well as the much talked about Dune 2 sandworm, they are hot commodities, okay? AMC Theaters estimates that this year alone, buckets will generate $100 million in revenue. So would any of you buy one of these?
I'm in. As soon as I know, and you guys wouldn't expect me to be in. As soon as I saw this item, because the interior decorator brain part of my brain lit up, and I'm like, picture it. You have a movie room. You have a movie enthusiast in your family, perhaps even a Christopher Nolan fan, and now you have this piece of like art. This would be great for a person who really loves movies and a specific genre of movies. So I love it. And if you've bought anything for interior design, it's expensive. $70 is nothing. But I love that idea.
Yeah. I love it too, but I didn't have popcorn buckets saving cinemas on my bingo card. Like, this is so shocking. I think there are enough people who are enamored with certain films, and it's like a piece of memorabilia.
Yeah, some of them work. I mean, like the Star Wars one, you know you've got voracious fans in a lot of these types of genres. Right? So there's one of the Star Wars ones. It's just a question of like, where does the popcorn? Oh, you get the popcorn on the side. I thought the popcorn went inside.
It's supposed to go inside.
It is supposed to go inside. That works, right, to me. But you know what doesn't work is like the Devil Wears Prada 2. They did like a purse, and I don't know.
That could work.
No, I'm gonna say that is not.
I'll render the room for you. I'll render the room for you. I'll show you the room that could work. Give me 2 minutes with AI. I will show you that.
Here's the funny part. I actually, of all of these, I hated all of them, including Odyssey's Trojan Horse, and I'm a horse girl. This is the only one. Sorry. This is the only one I said I would get.
But you didn't. Wait, would you get it? It's like plastic.
Here's the thing.
It's not like.
I watched it at home.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't enough to drag me out to the theater.
All right. Okay, so they're onto something.
Yeah, exactly. So
right?
you would.
It's not totally good.
No. So a Kentucky reporter has written a scathing pre-obituary of U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, who is not dead. I know there's a lot of rumors. He's not dead. Well, in part, he calls him, quote, every bit as detestable as Richard Nixon. He also writes that McConnell damaged his nation's trust in government, ability to have meaningful dialogue, and didn't even stand up to Donald Trump when the president said racist things about his own wife. A pre-obituary. Is this ethical? Is this ethical?
I actually think it is ethical. You're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, right? So we've all kind of agreed upon that. And I think that this is a way of like speaking your truth. This writer decided to tell him about himself while he's still apparently alive. And it wasn't all mean. He did start off with some of his earlier career work and gave him some compliments, but then he laid into some serious truth. And I guess in theory, like for any of us, regular people, to write something like this in advance, what if it inspired someone to change? Like, what if you were told about yourself some things you needed to hear and it actually inspired you to change? I think that in and of itself might make it worth it.
Oh, that's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Ethical?
I think that Americans, they hold on to their amendments so strongly. And the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And it seems like they only want to protect certain freedoms for certain people's speech. And in this case, freedom of the press, freedom of speech while someone is alive. If you're a journalist, this is fair game.
Oh, yeah.
This is fair game. And I also worry that because, you know, you don't want to speak ill of the dead, and God forbid, I mean, listen, we're all going to die. He's going to eventually die at some point. I don't know now. But when he dies, there's going to probably be a long period, if not by people, but certainly by the U.S. government, to really wash over and whitewash a lot of the problematic things that this guy has done. So I think that propaganda and censorship, I think they are much more at risk at that after he dies than before.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to quote a movie. Do you remember Gladiator?
Yes.
Russell Crowe. I think one of the earliest lines was, "What we do in this life echoes in eternity," which I think would include Mitch McConnell in this sense. And even the journalist writing this, like, he's not making things up, as you said. No. And obit doesn't create someone's legacy; it just reports it in old school journalism. So that's precisely what he's doing. I mean, I think calling it a pre-obit maybe is in poor taste, but you can't say it's unethical because he's not trying to convince us that he's dead. It's clearly a piece of a provocative piece.
Yes.
Like this is a pre-obit.
Yeah.
So
I have a different take. Listen, I'm not a Mitch McConnell fan, but I was there for my dad before he passed away. And so I have a sensitivity to this phase of a person's life and thinking about the people around them. Mitch McConnell is a politician, but he's also a husband and a father and a brother. And I think about how hard that time is for the family and the immediate family. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan. I think we still have to show some kind of humanity when people are going through a rough time. What I would prefer to see is that in an obituary, for people to be very honest and real about that person. Because you're right, sometimes in the obituary, it's like, who are you talking about? You can be talking about the same person that we knew.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a mistake to kind of make him sound like he was some kind of saint. But it's like, give the family that time. You have no idea how hard that time is. And then afterwards, when he's passed on, if you're a journalist and you want to write the facts, go right ahead. But you really don't know how hard that time is. I think that's why I don't like it.
I totally hear you, and I think maybe what you're echoing is like if any of those bad words should be spoken, they should be spoken from members of the family. Yeah. And actually, there are a lot of children of people who've written obituaries for parents who were not so great. Can I give you an excerpt from one of them, guys? So this was written by this man's daughter. Okay, his name was Leslie Ray Charping, and she wrote, Leslie Ray Charping was born in Galveston, Texas, on November 20th, 1942, and passed away on January 30th, 2017, which was 29 years longer than expected and much longer than he deserved. She went on to say, Leslie's hobbies included being abusive to his family and expediting trips to heaven for the beloved family pets. His life served no other obvious purpose, and he did not contribute to society or serve his community and possess no redeeming qualities. It went on, and there are a bunch of them that I unearthed, and apparently this can be quite healing for family members who maybe had a difficult time with their parents.
And healing for journalists, too, apparently.
There we go.
Wow,
On that note, let's hope none of us have obituaries written like that about us.
Thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. For bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.